routine. Starting a little late. I'm running a little behind after I paid the rent. I got tired, so I took a day off. And then my body just wanted to keep resting. So I'm trying to stay in the daily routine. I went out and worked today. I rested from work yesterday and did the daily routine. I'm about to use the bathroom real quick before we get started. And I'm going to clean up this room and empty everything in here out so that we have space to practice. And while I do that, I'm going to put on some Dharma talks from the Tibetan Buddhist nuns that I study their teachings for the style of meditation I do, which is the Tibetan meditation on the Buddha. So, finding a nice little Dharma talk to set the tone for what we're about to do. Yesterday we listened to Democracy Depends on All of Us. This one is called Stand Up for the Truth.
So, as you know, I often like to comment on what's happening in the world and applying Buddhism to it, because I think that really shows you how the Dharma is relevant to our daily lives and to what's happening in the world. And that is our field of practice. You know, it's not just sitting cross-legged and, you know, up somewhere, but it's, the bodhisattva deeds of learning how to function in the world with a mind that's under control and a mind that's full of wisdom and compassion. So, and I'm also thinking that probably a lot of people who listen to our BBCs are as confused as I am about what in the world is going on in this country right now. Yeah, I think it was, in a way, what happened last Wednesday with the people breaching the Capitol, and it was basically a riot. And the destruction that happened, and also what was going on in Congress when they were trying to certify Biden's election, and some of the Republican congressmen and a few of the Republican senators were objecting to the votes in some states. Which is really rather confusing. Yeah, and that's why people are saying, it's destroying democracy, because what you have is the people who are elected, who vowed to support the Constitution, are undermining it with their actions. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. But it touches on it. So if we see the confusion that's happening, one thing that instantly comes to mind is the importance of telling the truth, the importance of truthful speech, and the disadvantages of lying. Because this whole commotion and the undermining of democracy is due to the big lie that Trump actually had a landslide victory, which has been discounted in courts, disproved by counting and recounting and again recounting, votes in certain states. And so it's not true at all, but it's something that he made up. He spoke about it so much, and he even declared the election rigged before the election happened, meaning that if he lost, it was rigged, but if he won, it was okay. And then other people jumped on the bandwagon supporting his lie. At first it was Giuliani and Sidney, what's her name, Powell, who acted as lawyers, and other people who were lawyers for the approximately 60 court cases that got dismissed about fraudulent voting, wasting a lot of people's time in the courts. And then the lie being perpetrated again and again in the media. And then the morning of January 6th at the rally, he again said it, and as he did in many tweets leading up to the 6th and encouraging his people to come there as they were the patriots, and and right the wrong, because he was actually the victor of the election. And so here, one person's lie that other people jumped on the bandwagon with, some Congress people jumped on that bandwagon, some right-wing media jumped on that bandwagon, and then, and different, groups jumped on that bandwagon. And then from there, it got spread out to the general public. And many people, because they read it on social media or on certain right-wing news things, then they believed it too. Okay? And so, that one lie got spread around, and look what happened. Yeah? And I think what really shocked people the most is because the Capitol symbolizes for the world, apparently, the epitome of democracy, especially of American democracy. And then these rioters just walked in with very little police pushback. The police were immediately overwhelmed by it. So it was making me think again and again about Nagarjuna saying the value of telling the truth and not lying. Okay? Because if people had kept that, especially the president, then the whole thing would not have started. Okay? And this is an event that I think is going to reverberate in the country for many years. In many ways, people are comparing it to 9/11 in the sense that 9/11 was foreign terrorism, and this was American terrorism. 9/11 was people trying to destroy American democracy, but the people were foreigners. This was Americans thinking they were sticking up for democracy, but actually destroying it because they were interfering with the Congress's constitutional duty to reaffirm the electoral votes. Okay, so first of all, the importance of telling the truth. And not just to avoid commotion, but to also establish trust. And so now for a lot of people, the trust in the government has been broken, just as in my generation, during the Vietnam era, the trust in the government was broken when we found out, like through the Pentagon Papers and so on, how much the government was lying to us. But this was different because this is one person, and it's about an election, and then really trying to usurp power illegitimately. That's what he was hoping to do. Okay, so how does this pertain to Dharma practice? I often say when we see things in the world that we consider unethical or detrimental, our responsibility is to, one responsibility is to look and see if we do those same things. So here, to look and see, how do we lie? How do we skirt the truth? How do we make up stories that we then convince ourselves to believe and then convince other people to believe? Yeah. And sometimes we may do this deliberately. Sometimes we don't even realize we're making up a story. And yet it completely twists an event. And we tell many people about it, and it gets a lot of people quite upset. So that's one thing, the value, to check inside. How much do we tell the truth, and how much do we sidle our way around the truth? And the second thing is the importance of standing up for what is right and standing up for the truth. And it really touched me when I was watching it. I forget if this was on Wednesday evening or sometime on Thursday. But no, it was on Wednesday evening. And Josh Hawley stood up, and he and Ted Cruz and some of the other senators supported this thing of objecting to the vote of different states. And so Josh Hawley is speaking. Mitt Romney was sitting behind him. And, yes, Mitt Romney was glaring. That's what the news emphasizes. What it isn't doing is replaying what he said, which I wish they would do, because at one point Mitt Romney stood up and he was talking about how this lie is affecting the American people. And he said, we need to tell them the truth. How do we solve this breach of trust? We tell the American people the truth. Yeah, I wish that the news people would play that one again and again. Yeah, because telling the truth is the way to establish the trust that's been broken in the country. It will be very difficult. Once you lie and your lies are found out, it's difficult to reestablish trust. But it's important to stand up and say we need to tell the truth. Okay? Because we may face different situations in our life where it's quite obvious people are lying, or where there's a cover-up going on, and it's not this Trump's lies are so blatant, but the cover-up is another kind of lie. But we need to stand up during those situations and say we need to tell the truth. Yeah, so it's important to do that. It's important when to not be an enabler. So this is another facet of telling the truth. When somebody is lying, you see that so much of this commotion is because for 4 years, certain people enabled Trump to continue lying, one lie after another, some bigger, some smaller. But, the fact checkers were always quite busy and could easily disprove things. And it all started, on the very first day regarding the size of his inauguration crowd, when the pictures clearly showed many open spaces, and when he declared that it was the biggest crowd ever. Okay? So, and the number of people that for years enabled him to continue doing what he was doing. And especially since the election, when he declared himself the winner and started saying there was fraudulent voting, yeah, how many people jumped on that bandwagon because it was convenient for them to enable somebody else in their lie. And again, to look at ourselves, and when do we do this? When, for personal benefit, do we support something that we know is not good, but we benefit from it? Okay, so you see, principally people are talking about Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, and what they're doing. And then first of all, Hawley did it. Then Cruz jumped up. Then there were well over 100 representatives in the House who followed Mo. What was his name? Some representative from the South. If anybody remember his name? He was one of the first ones to say it in the House. Anyway, all these people started objecting. If only the House people, those Republicans in the House, had objected, and none of the senators had, the Congress would not have had to split and had into Senate and Congress, Senate and House, and have debates, But because there were both House and Senate people who were objecting, then, the people who were following Trump said, oh, look, those people also think it was a sham election, and that Trump really won, and that there was voter fraud. And when we march on the Capitol, we're going to talk to those people, and we're going to talk to Mike Pence and convince them to overturn the election. Okay? So because Mike Pence had stated earlier that morning that he cannot overturn the election, but the other people were saying, no, we're going to object to the votes, and in that way, there's a whole process. We will be able to overturn the election. And that gave all those people who attended Trump's rally confidence that, hey, there's a whole bunch of people in the Congress who side with us. Yeah, and so that's why we say that those senators and House representatives were undermining democracy, by perpetuating a lie. So there were so many lies. One lie that he won the election. Second lie that their interrupting that whole procedure could actually change the election, which it couldn't. Okay? But people upholding those lies. So the whole thing of enabling somebody else for your own benefit. Because some of the people who did this, they did it either to get in Trump's good graces, because they have plans to run themselves in 2024, and they want Trump's base to think that they're fantastic. So they may have done it for that. Or they may have done it because they're terrified of being criticized by Trump. Because if he criticizes them, then his base won't support them. And so these people, their chief thing in their mind is not the welfare of the government, the welfare of the country. It's their own election, so that they personally can have fame or power or wealth from getting elected. Okay? So it's a corrupt motivation yeah, for wanting to be elected and then enabling Trump. And so what you have here is what people are calling it now transactional thing. It means everybody is using everybody else and nobody really cares about anything but their own ambition. So that's another element in this whole thing, okay, is personal ambition. Yeah. So you mix all these things up between lies, enabling, personal ambition, and you get what happened. Okay, so one of the chief things for us to do in our practice is clean up our own speech so we don't lie. Look at how we enable things that are not correct. Yeah. Look at how we've destroyed trust by going along with a cover-up, by lying ourselves or whatever. And look at our own ambition and how we use other people to fulfill our own desires, purporting to have a virtuous motivation, but actually swimming in the cesspool. Okay? So these are just a few things. I'm trying to not make a long BBC. So that means I'm going to have to come back and finish this later because there are several other important points. Okay? But my whole point of this is to take what we're seeing on the outside and apply it to ourselves and clean up our own motivation and our own actions. Okay? Because what we're seeing on the outside is a reflection of the mess we can create in our own little world by doing the same actions as unethical actions as we're seeing.
What you said about everybody being in for their own personal ambition and such, that's how I was raised to see politics. My dad would just say they're all crooks. And I've actually, in the last couple of years, been very heartened to see that that's not the case, that there are politicians. I probably wouldn't agree with a lot of Mitt Romney's, some of his politics, but I see that he's standing up for honesty. I saw that with Elijah Cummings.
Yes.
I see that with several other people.
Yeah.
And so when we act ethically, people don't even have to know we're Buddhists. They just have to, it's just good that they see ethical conduct being modeled. And I think that some of the politicians, the younger politicians right now, were being influenced in that way by Elijah Cummings and some of the others. Very much so. So there's a bright side to this too.
Yes. Yes. So I was talking about the corrupt ones. I wasn't talking about the good ones. Although I did talk about Mitt Romney. I disagree with his politics, but I really respect him as a human being because he lives by his principles and his conscience. And I don't care who it is, I respect that. But you're right about Elijah Cummings, John Lewis, these people, and how examples of those people can really affect a lot of people. Yeah. Okay.
So, that was a short Dharma talk about politics. Now we're going to do the Tibetan Buddhist meditation
As you know.
on the Buddha, led by the same ladies that were just talking, Tibetan Buddhist nuns. And we will begin right away. If you don't like this style of meditation, then just mute the video and sit until you see me start doing the yoga, and then jump into the yoga. Focus on your breath in the silence and the stillness. Try to empty your mind. Meditate on emptiness. Maybe loving kindness and compassion. joy, equanimity, seeing all equally, without prejudice. And if you can get into it, the practice of the mantras and the chanting and the prayers, it's all mental exercises that create a certain vibe or atmosphere for the space in your immediate area and in the space in your heart and your mind, so that you're creating the conditions for enlightenment to happen, for spiritual progress to spontaneously occur. And whether or not you like the religion, they all have this kind of practice, this format. So we're using our imaginations, right? I'm not saying that spiritual beings are appearing before you or anything. We're saying use your imagination to picture this. This is what it symbolizes. This is how you apply it to your life in real life situations every day. And begin.
Practices with this aspiration to be a benefit to beings, not to harm them, to benefit them, and in our understanding, the best benefit is to actually, for beings to be liberated from cyclic existence, and we aim to become Buddhist in order to help beings to be free in this way. So generate those thoughts in your own way. So now the children has laid out the sadhana for us, helping us to generate these various mind states. And she starts by having us think about all of our potential, all the kind of positive qualities that we can develop. Infinite love, compassion, wisdom, skillful means. So imagine what it would feel like to be with those qualities. Just let yourself be love, wisdom, try to feel the expansiveness and peace in your heart. The wisdom that it takes to have this kind heart. To be unencumbered in any way. Vast and expansive. Taking everything that's happening in this world, reaching out to every being, human and otherwise, to benefit each one. So now imagine that these qualities of love, compassion, wisdom, skillful means appear in front of you in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. So imagine this Buddha in front of you, in the space in front of you made of radiant, transparent light. He's sitting on a throne, above which is an open lotus flower and cushions of the sun and lotus. This entire visualization is made of radiant, transparent light. But you're imagining a living being with a light body. So you feel yourself in the presence of the Buddha. But Buddha's body is golden in color. He wears the robes of a monastic. his right hand, with the palm down, rests on his right knee. The earth touching mudra. And his left hand is in his lap holding a bowl of nectar. And this nectar is the medicine to cure our afflictions and all of our hindrances. And the Buddha's face is very beautiful. You can look at the Buddha's eyes. He's smiling. His eyes are smiling. He's looking at you with total acceptance. And as he looks at you, he's also encompassing all sentient beings. The Buddha's eyes are very peaceful, long and narrow. His lips are red and his earlobes are long. Imagine rays of light radiating from every pore of the Buddha's body. This golden light going out to all the parts of the universe, touching beings, carrying miniature Buddhas to help beings. And as they complete their work, they dissolve back into the Buddha. The Buddha is surrounded by the entire lineage of spiritual teachers, all the meditational deities, innumerable other Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors. And at the side, your spiritual mentor is an elegant table, and on it are Dharma books. The sounds of the Dharma fill the air. And they're all so happy that we're here doing this together. Imagine their minds just blissful and peaceful, gazing at all sentient beings. So you imagine that actually you were surrounded by all sentient beings in human form. Your mother of this life was on your left. Your father of this life was on your right. Any people you have difficulty with, you imagine in front of you, facing the Buddha, keeping them there for protection. Family and friends are nearby, countless strangers fill the space around you. And all of us are looking to the Buddha for guidance. So first we need to cultivate a sense of refuge. We think of all the dangers of cyclic existence. Just think about how things are not secure. Run into dissatisfaction, often dukkha, often. And people, all the beings around us, all the sentient beings around us, are also in the same boat, floundering in cyclic existence. And many of them have not met any kind of teachings that will help them out of this quagmire. So we generate compassion. And now think of the wonderful qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and generate this sense of confidence in them, in their ability to guide you out of all of these recurring problems. To take refuge in causes, this kind of concern, this kind of alarm, fear, and also this confidence and faith, and the compassion. So it is possible, on the basis of your present life and mind, to free yourself from all of these undesirable experiences. So resolve to explore that possibility to the fullest. feel great trust and confidence in the three jewels, and open your heart to rely upon them to guide you and others from all of these difficulties of cyclic existence and bring us to the peace, liberation, full awakening. So as we do these refuge verses, starting here, now we're at the top of page 21, we'll be taking refuge in the Buddha, and we imagine actually leading all of the sentient beings around us and going for refuge. And we visualize white, radiant light flowing from all of the Buddhas, the spiritual mentors, the Bodhisattvas, all of these holy beings flowing into us and all the beings around us. And this light completely purifies all of our destructive karmic imprints and pleasures. And it also brings all the realizations of the path. So put your hands in prayer position. Namo Guruvya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sanghaya. 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 So feel that you've come under the protection of the three jewels. And now we turn our thoughts to others and think about how much we depend on other beings for everything that we have, everything we know, everything we use, everything we enjoy. Our food, clothing, resources of every kind. these come due to the efforts of others. Our knowledge, talents, good qualities, these too are developed due to the kindness of others. And our ability to practice the Dharma certainly depends on others who brought the teachings to us for the millennia by generating realizations in their mind and teaching. So this is a very great kindness, all of these things we want to bring to mind. Our heart most wishes to be free from suffering. And this is the case for everyone else as well. We want to be happy. All beings want to be happy. And like us, they encounter many difficulties, problems, sufferings. And usually, actually, their difficulties are more so than our own. Not always, but often. And when we examine our capacity to help beings, we find that we're actually quite limited. And we know from our practice that if we can reduce our anger, our attachment, our ignorance, our various faults, and if we can increase all of our good qualities, we're really going to be in a position to benefit beings. Imagine if we had just this generous heart, gives so easily, takes delight in giving, the kind of ethics that doesn't harm, has that just ingrained fortitude, loving kindness, compassion, wisdom, we'll be in an excellent position to help beings by having our good qualities developed. And if we develop them fully, like a Buddha does, then we'll be able to be of the greatest benefit to beings. So we generate this altruistic intention in order to be able to benefit beings most effectively. So as we take refuge and generate bodhicitta, imagine the light is flowing into you from all of these Buddhas and holy beings, and it's flowing into you and all the sentient beings around you. So we're on the top of page 22. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. So imagine the Buddha is so pleased with your altruistic intention. The replica emerges from the Buddha, comes to the crown of your head, melts into golden light, flows into you. Feel that you and the Buddha become inseparable. Feel very close to the Buddha and allow your mind to be transformed and inspired. Let go of all conceptions you have about yourself. disintegrating thoughts. Let go of the concept of inherent existence and meditate on emptiness. As your heart appears a small Buddha, reed of light, he radiates the light of wisdom and compassion in all directions throughout the entire universe. And this light transforms all sentient beings into Buddhas and all environments into pure lands, which are places where all the circumstances are conducive to practicing the Dharma and generating realizations. So imagine this. You've transformed all sentient beings into Buddhas and all environments into pure lands. In your imagination, oh, why hasn't this become a reality? We sentient beings have bias, prejudice, we lack love, compassion, and joy. So now we want to wish ourselves and others to have all of these qualities. So we contemplate the four immeasurables. We do this to reinforce our own felt experience of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity for everyone. Friends, strangers, enemies, relatives, people we don't like, people we don't trust, anyone, everyone. So as we say those four immeasurables, you want to listen to yourself say the words and contemplate as you recite. We'll pause between each of the four. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings not be separated from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. So, in order to achieve what we've just been aspiring towards, we need to purify our negativities, and we need a lot of merit. We need to abandon things and adopt things. So when we do this 7-limb prayer, this encompasses all this abandoning and adopting things. So we'll pause after each line. And put your hands in the prayer position, please. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. So imagine yourself and all the beings, the sentient beings around you, making prostrations to all the holy beings in front of you in the field of merit, repeatedly prostrating. And present clouds of every type of offering, actual and mentally transformed. So imagine offering everything beautiful to the Buddha and all the holy beings. You can fill the sky with offerings, make it very lovely and beautiful. You can think of flowers and fields and just everything that you love. Offer to all the holy beings. You can do this repeatedly. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginning this time. So now we do a glance meditation of the 4 permanent powers. For this, bring to mind something that you wish to purify, some fault or mistake. Bring it clearly to mind and generate regret for that. And then the other permanent powers are taking refuge and generating bodhicitta, which we're doing in the practice. The practice itself will be the remedial action, but make a determination not to do this action again. And rejoice in the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. So think of common sentient beings like ourselves, the holy beings, and delight, rejoice in all of the virtue created by any kind of being. Let go of any jealousy, envy, and just rejoice in the goodness of the world. Use your own life experience. Think of these people that you want to rejoice. Please remain until cyclic existence ends. So now we offer a double dorje. This symbolizes long life. We offer this to the holy beings. We do this requesting them to live long, to always be a part of our life. And you can do this multiple times in your imagination. And turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. So again, make this offering. You're offering with both hands this beautiful 1,000-spoke Dharma wheel, golden in color. Offering this to the teachers and the Buddhas to guide you and to continue to teach the Dharma. Seventh, I dedicate all the virtues of myself and others to the Great Awakening. So now we steer these limbs toward full awakening for ourselves and all beings. Now we'll offer the mandala. Here we imagine everything beautiful in the universe, offering it to all the holy beings with the wish that they will continue to teach and guide us, and that we can generate realizations in our mind. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn, Mount Meru, for land, sun, and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered to you. May all beings enjoy this pure land. The objects of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments, I offer these without any sense of loss. Please accept them with pleasure and inspire me and others to be free from the 3 poisonous attitudes. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayam. So imagine all the holy beings just delighted. They receive your offerings. And the offerings melt into light and dissolve into them. And these all absorb into the Buddha's heart. And then immediately he radiates light back to you, filling your body and mind. This light inspires you to accomplish the path to full awakening. progress along the path, we need to develop realizations. In order to do this, we need the inspiration of the lineage of spiritual mentors, especially your principal teacher or your root guru, who's the one who has touched your heart deeply. If you don't have a specific teacher, just think about Shakyamuni Buddha. Maybe you have a connection in your mind with His Holiness. And we make this request, page 25. Glorious and precious root guru, sit upon the lotus and moon seat on my crown, guiding me with your great kindness. Bestow upon me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. So then, at this point, you imagine that a replica of your teacher in the aspect of the Buddha emerges from the Buddha in front of you. And it comes to sit on a lotus and moon disc on the crown of your head, facing the same direction as you. So then this Buddha on the crown of your head is going to act as an advocate for you to request inspiration from the entire field of merit as we continue the request. We're doing the long one on page 26. Buddha, unequal teacher and guide, venerable protector Maitreya, successor, superior Sangha prophesied by Buddha. To you three Buddhas and Bodhisattvas I make request. Buddha, head of the Shakya clan, the foremost guide, peerless in expounding emptiness. Manjushri, embodiment of the Buddha's complete wisdom, exalted Nagarjuna, best of the superiors who seized the profound meaning. To you three crowning jewels of clear exposition I make request. Atisha, upholder of this great vehicle, who sees the profundity of dependent arising. Drone Rinpoche, elucidator of this good path. To these two ornaments of the world I make request. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion. Manjushri, masteress, flawless wisdom. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the snowy land sages. Losangapa, I make request at your feet. Holder of the white lotus, embodiment of all the conqueror's compassion. Guide benefiting migrating beings in the land of snow mountains and beyond. Sole deity and refuge, Tenzin Gyatso, at your feet I make request. The eyes through whom the vast scriptures are seen. Supreme doors for the fortunate who would cross over to spiritual freedom. Illuminators whose wise means vibrate with compassion. To the entire line of spiritual mentors I make request. So imagine all of the figures in the field of merit melting into light, dissolving into the central figure of the Buddha in front of you. All the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Arhats, Dakas, the kings, Dharma protectors, all of these beings melt into light, dissolve into the central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha. And now Shakyamuni Buddha embodies the three jewels. And this Buddha absorbs into the Buddha on the crown of your head. And then as we recite the Buddha's mantra, try to let your mind be very open and receptive. Imagine this white light flowing into you from the Buddha on the crown of your head. It purifies all your negativities, all your obscurations, and it generates within you the realizations of the stages of the path. So we'll recite the Buddha's mantra together. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Mune Soha. 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 Tayata Om Mune Mune Mahamunaye 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 Soha. Now, establish the visualization of Shakyamuni Buddha above the crown of your head. Made of golden, transparent, radiant light, a living being. And this Buddha melts into light, dissolves into you. Your body, speech, and mind become inseparable from those of the Buddha. Dedication prayers, starting on the page that we're on in the sadhana, which is 27. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore.
So this has been the meditation on the Buddha in the tradition of the Tibetan Buddhists, led by the Buddhist nuns at the Shravasti Abbey in Washington State. Next we're going to do the short version of the Ashtanga Yoga primary series. And I'm going to take a quick bathroom break before we start the yoga. So I'm going to put on some philosophical talks put to music. It's mostly Alan Watts and stuff like Alan Watts. I've got to clean up this playlist because there's some stuff I randomly put on here that when I listened closely to it I don't agree with. But there's other stuff that's really good. So, we do this daily routine of meditation, yoga, and martial arts because that is a fully comprehensive practice for spirit or mind and body. And the yoga bridges the gap between the spirit or soul or mind or whatever you want to call that and the body. And the yoga is a process of active recovery. It's a warming up process. It's a cooling down process. It's a healing process. And we have to have a daily routine of stretching and active recovery. And I do it after the meditation because we can get stiff from meditation. I do it before the martial arts because previously, earlier last year, when I was ironing out the details of this daily routine, I found that if I get sweaty from the martial arts first, and then I do the yoga and the meditation last, then we sit in the sweat and we're more prone to getting a rash, right? We're more prone to getting ringworm or something gross like this, or pimples or whatever, athlete's foot or jock itch. So to avoid that, we do the sweating last so that we can jump right in the shower, right? And we do the meditation first because this is the gentlest thing, it's the easiest thing to do because you're just sitting there using your imagination. Then we do this yoga to slowly change gears and shift up from the physical, from the mental or psychological or spiritual up to the physical, but we're just gently stretching the body, doing some slow exercise. And we're doing the easy version of the Ashtanga yoga at this point in the year. Maybe later in the year we'll start throwing in more sun salutations and making it a longer practice from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And then later on from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. And then we'll take this 30-minute, 32-minute martial arts routine at the end and we might start making it 45 minutes. And then 60 minutes, and then 90 minutes. And then we'll have a really long, intense practice. And we might increase the time of the meditation from 30, 40 minutes to 60 minutes to 90 minutes to where we'll have holiday practices where on the holiday days of the Western world, during the Thanksgiving break or the winter break, or the winter retreat of the Eastern world, or the summer retreat, the summer break, the monsoon season break, we'll be having a very long practice, which might last the entire day. I will live stream a day where I do 90 minutes meditation, 90 minutes yoga, 90 minutes martial arts. And I respect and admire you if you can keep up with me doing that, because I live like a warrior monk sometimes during these times, and it's not easy. And it's okay if you freak out when you're doing those practices. If you break down and you cry and you can't keep up, that's good. I respect that. That's when you find your boundary and you push your boundary and you get stronger. It's okay if you break down. It's not okay if you quit. That's a form of weakness. The positive form of weakness is you find your limit, you break down and cry, and then you get back up and you keep going. And it's not pretty. You'll be doing it and you're doing the weak version of the push-up on your knees. That's okay. You're doing the weak version of the leg exercise. You're just doing calf raises instead of lunges or squats. That's okay. You're just doing squats instead of doing squat jumps. You're just doing push-ups instead of doing clapping push-ups, and that's okay. We're building up over the year to a very intense practice. After we do a few weeks of intense practice, we're going to go back to 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Right? We're going to have some rest days. But I challenge you, if you're seeing this right now, you individually, I challenge you to do 60 days of practice, 30 minutes meditation, martial arts yoga. Build up to 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. Build up to 90, 90, 90 minutes of martial arts, yoga, meditation. And if you can do that, you're going to become a real badass in real life, right? And maybe nobody knows, and you're walking around with these abilities, right? To practice and train to defend yourself from whatever might come over the next 4 years especially. So I'll shut up, put on some related music, clean up these pillows and the towel. I'm going to go to the bathroom, drink some pre-workout. I encourage you to do the same. And then get back on the mat. We'll do the opening mantra for the Ashtanga Yoga primary, and we will practice that next.
You want to make sure that you always inject novelty. It's what triggers memory. Because your brain will get bored of the sameness, so you need to trigger memory and attention.
Contrast is a way to get people to move from where they are to where you want them to be. You just say, well, it's much less expensive than this. So contrast is one of the most important thoughts. Use contrast often. Hey, you don't want to be this bad. You could be over here.
Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. And if you keep things simple, the brain can process it and deal with it. And if you keep things simple, the brain can process it and deal with it.
If it's complicated, your brain has a tendency to just flush it out. Can't deal with it, flush it out.
The fake because is a form of pseudo-logic. Sometimes you need to get people moving with a fake reason that doesn't even actually pass logical standards. But people don't need logical reasons. Just look at politics. People have incredibly different opinions, and many of them are smart. So if you've got smart people on opposite sides of basically every issue, you can see that they don't need real reasons. We're not a species that operates on real reasons. We'll take a fake reason, we'll take one we made up, we'll take a guess, we'll follow our friends. Once you understand that people don't need real reasons, it frees you. Because if you're locked in a little world at a lower level of awareness where you're saying, well, I'm not going to convince somebody unless I have a real reason. Sorry, that's not the reality any of us live in. Real reasons are good if you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Real reasons are good if you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Real reasons are good if you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Once you know you don't need them and the reality can be offered, you're in better shape. And repetition and simplicity, our brains are just simple machines. And repetition and simplicity, our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. And repetition and simplicity, our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines.
Okay. So we're going to do the opening mantra of the Ashtanga Yoga primary series, which basically means thank you to the teachers of the past, present, and future who bring this practice to us from the meditators in the jungle, because this practice helps us to alleviate the suffering of existence. Vande Gurunam Charanaravinde Sandarshita Swama Sukha Vabode Nirshe Se Chandalikaya Mane Samsara Hala Hala Mohashantiye Abahu Purushakaram Shankasakrasi Dharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shritam Pranamani Patanjalim. And that's Sanskrit, and everything I do and say in my daily routine can be investigated and verified. And we'll begin.
Apple pie from scratch. You must first invent people do? Most of the time. What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? What do people do? Most of the time. What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? When people are unoccupied, as far as I can make out, they get together and they sing and dance. Or else watch somebody else do it. Nowadays we live in a non-participative culture, and we don't do very much singing and dancing. We're lugubrious, but we watch other people do it on television. What we really are interested in is to be able to spend all the time going, that, and that's what our heart's doing, that's what our lungs are doing, it's what our eyeballs are doing, and it's what all these fantastic capillaries of the veins are doing. They're going just beautifully under the stuff, you see? And that's the point. Now the thing is, ought this to be allowed? You know, dare we admit it? What do people do? Most of the time. What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? What do people do? Most of the time. What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? Because we've been brought up, you see, in a cultural context in which the universe is presided over by somebody serious. It's only very, very occasional obscure references in the Jewish and Christian scriptures to the idea that God dances. Of course, in Hindus they know Shiva dances, and all the gods dance. They're represented in the past. But in our way of looking at things, no. That deep down in there is something that you must respect. You must love in church, especially if you've got it on the throne of heaven. mythologize ultimate reality in the form of this cosmic grandpapa, who is also a king and is demanding above all things reverence and respect.
what time it is. Ashtanga Yoga primary series, the short version. And I'll close now with the closing mantra before we get into the martial arts workout routine. And the closing mantra basically means blessings to the leaders who lead with compassion and wisdom. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. Peace, peace, perfect peace. Om. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayam Nayena Mardena Mahimahisha Go Brahmanebhya Paripala Shubhamatsu Nityam Lokaha Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So next we're going to do a martial arts workout in the format of the high intensity interval training, which is basically we're going to do 4 exercises, one after the other, sets of 4. So 4 exercises in one round, then the next round, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4 exercises are structured so that the first one is a full body, the next one is legs, then upper body, then core, with 30 seconds to a minute for each exercise, and then the next set, full body, legs, upper body, core, and then again, for at least 32 minutes. So I have the entire workout written out on one page right here. So you can follow along if you take a screenshot and you try. And if you can't do an exercise, do your own version. I'll try to explain things as I go, but I might not once I'm tired. That's the full body column, legs, upper body, core. These are the boxing combinations we're going to be working on down here. I'm only doing 2 rounds or so of boxing. These are the techniques and positions related to the techniques that we're working on, the exercises we're working on. So for example, if you haven't been following along, we'll do like a full body burpee, then a one-legged squat, then a handstand or a one-hand push-up, and then sit-ups, for example, right? If you can't do those, you can do a burpee, then regular squats, then regular push-ups, and then sit-ups, whatever you can do, crunches. Then the next thing we would do a round of kickboxing, and then kicks, and then boxing, and then head movement to work the core, right? So that's just an example of 2 rounds of what we're about to do. So if you need to take a bathroom break, do it now while I roll up the yoga mat and get ready. I'm gonna check the time and we're about to get it done. We're about to get after it. So I'm gonna put on more intense music now, a workout playlist. A lot of this is like speeches by Jocko Willenick, remixed to music, and there's some other stuff in there. There's a little bit of Alan Watts, and so on and so forth. So feel free to grab yourself some pre-workout, some coffee, or some water, and get ready. So it's 11:34. We're gonna go till about 12:05, 12:07. We will begin.
How to stop the laziness and how to stop the procrastination.
We're gonna start with a full body burpee.
They have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision of what they want to do, but they don't know where to start. And so they say, hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start? Where do I start? And when's the best time to start? Where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. And now. That's it.
One leg squats.
You want to get better. You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet. You want to start a business. You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application. You start right now. When you start right
We're at minute 121 minutes 51 seconds. Upper body. Gonna try clapping push-ups. It's been a while.
isn't going to explain itself. And the book isn't going to write itself. And the
Leg
weights
raises.
out the gym, they're not going to move themselves. You have to do it. And you have to do it now. And that means you got to stop thinking about it and stop dreaming about it and stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Just start doing it. You want to improve. You want to get better. You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet. You want to start a business. You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application.
Technique round. Cross jab, cross, block, kick.
You want to get better. Take that first step and make it happen. Get after it. Get after it.
Kicks.
I've been lucky. I've been blessed. I've had a life that I would not trade with anyone in the world. When you talk about Ramadi, that was the highlight of my life. Because I was leading men in combat, which was something that I always wanted to do, and something that I felt that I was destined to do. And when I was in that
Boxing.
situation, I knew that. I looked at it and said, oh, I wish I would have been doing that. No, I knew it then. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is what you have been waiting for your whole life and what you really have been preparing for your whole life.
Or we're going to do head movement.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else is close. And so you have to deal with that. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Full body burpee.
Sit there at night, wishing I was back. Okay, I do that. Sometimes I often wish I was back. But I do well on it. Because it's gone. Because it's gone. Because it's gone.
Legs. We're going to do squat jumps.
And I'm so happy that I could be part of it and that I was able to work with such tremendous guys. And I try and keep their memory alive. Every day.
Upper body. We're going to do one-hand push-ups.
Cancer survivor. In my darkest hours that a lot of people can't comprehend, you were there. You know, I'm going to live life. I'm going to live my days. How did you get from, I don't know if I'm going to come out of this battle. I don't know if I'm going to come home. How did you get from the darkest places to the brightest places?
Sam Harris said to me, you talk about combat as your fondest memory. The best thing that's happened in your life is the high
Core.
life, which is all true.
We're going to do sit-ups.
So, which one is it? I said to him, I said, have you ever known anyone that has had cancer? Terminal cancer. Made it through. Have you ever known anyone that's happened? And he's like, yes. I said, when you talk to them, many times, they say, I'm glad that this happened to me. Number one, because it proved I could take it. Number two, it made them one of my kids. And number three, now that I know how dark you can get, I know how dark you can get. Now that I
Technique
know
round.
how dark you can get,
Cross, jab, cross. Block, cross, kick.
that's what combat is and was for me. That's what it was. It was dark and horrible, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, just like you wouldn't wish cancer on anyone. But if I can give them a little knowledge, a little bit of a glimpse into what it is, when you said that, people are clapping.
We're going to do a lunge, opposite knee, opposite elbow. Come up and hook. And then squat. Same knee, same elbow. And hook. Switch. boxing. Or we're going to do high knees. Full body burpee. Legs. We're gonna lunge. Opposite knee, opposite elbow, uppercut. Squat, uppercut. And switch. Body. We're going to do handstand push-ups, or any push-up. Core. We're going to do donkey kicks or scorpion kick. This is good for hip throws, which are next. That's for the lower back. Now we're going to do a hip throw form. High, low, high, step, turn, throw. Or if you're moving backwards, more realistically, or backwards. So I'm getting a collar and a sleeve grip, or a wrist and elbow grip, and I'm stepping deep, and I pull them over me. Right? Or I'm pummeling for a back belt grip, maybe a head or an elbow grip, and I pull them over and throw. This isn't a strike. I'm pulling them over me. Hip throw squat. That's when you load someone up over you and you pop your hips to throw them over. The upper body, leg round for the arms, we're just going to pummel. This is for digging for a double under grip or over under grip so you can throw. Moving around with it. You can do this with a partner. It's always better with a partner, like most things. There's no substitute for a good coach, training partner you can trust. Next we're going to do a hip throw fold from standing. It's like a good morning without the weights, right? So I'm throwing without my legs right now just for the isolation of the core and also to do opposite motion from last time. Last time I was compressing my spine, kicking up. Now I'm decompressing. I'm still popping my hips out of habit. You can do this stepping forward. You can do it stepping back. Either way. Full body burpee. We're about halfway done with the routine. Legs. We're going to do some footwork for boxing. So imagine you're stepping under a line that's in the corner behind me, right? Getting low. Stepping forward to the side. Working the legs. Switching the stance. All the way over. All the way past that corner. Right? Upper body. We're going to do wide push-ups. Fast and explosive, 25. Core. We're going to do flutter kicks fast as you can. Just 30 seconds. Full body exercise. We're gonna break fall, technical stand up, kick, come up swinging. Whatever kind of 1, 2, 3. I like to come up with an uppercut from the ground. Protect yourself and circle, move. Technical stand up without the hands. With the legs round. Think about you come up shooting. Maybe you shoot for a takedown coming up. Protecting your face. Protect your jaw. Upper body. We're going to push up and sit out. So if somebody sprawls on top of you, you sit out to get out from under them. If they've got you flat, you got to push up and sit out. It's a lot harder with a person on top of you. But it's easier if you've been practicing at home. For core, we're going to do a hip bump sit-up, which can also lead to a guillotine or to a Kimura grip. If they don't stop the hip bump, you hip bump. From closed guard. Full body burpee. Calisthenics round. Squat, push, sit up, push, squat, squat, push, sit up, push, squat. One more. Legs. We're going to go back to the one-leg squat. I'm bringing my heel off the ground. I touch the ground for balance. If you can't do this, just do squats. Narrow or wide. Ooh. One-arm push-ups. So we're alternating explosive movements with strength movements. This is a strength round. Try to do at least 5 on each side. Core, leg raises. Technique round. Ooh, spicy food. Spicy sweat. We're gonna sprawl. Right? So I'm throwing one hip down. The other leg is up. My toes hit the ground with the heel up. Right? And then I pop up like a surfer. Popping up on the surfboard. Or you can circle. Like you're circling to the opponent's back. Scroll. Now we're going to shoot. Takedown. Upper body. After you take someone down, you gotta push up, pass the guard, get to knee on belly. Right. Opposite side. Knee on belly. I'm pulling on their head and their belt. Switching sides. Right away, my knee goes in there. From the pin to the pin. Side control to knee on belly. Now I'm going to do an armbar sit-up for the core. Their head's here. Far side armbar. I collect the arm, spin my butt over the face, do this by crossing my ankles. And I'm trapping the far side arm with my legs and hands. So when I rotate, it's already there. Alright. Next is a full body burpee. Good. We're going to do squat jumps again. Upper body, what's up, dude? Upper body says clapping push-ups. We'll see if we can do that still. Watch out. Whew, did as many as I could. Next, we're gonna do something weird. We're gonna do hot dog rolls. This is for when you're in a leg lock position and you need to take their leg to the other side, or they start to roll with it and you need to roll with them. Right? And you need to be able to lay down and pass the leg over. One more. Okay, full body technique exercise. We're gonna roll from the hip throw. So if you're pummeling, you throw someone, it's a stronger throw if you roll through it. Then you squat and dive. Or you can post on them with your foot, roll backwards. Right? And again, this is where the one-legged squat comes in. If you're trying to roll into a leg lock, learn rollos from standing. Okay? Not easy. Leg lock entry from standing. Step between the legs, back step. Isolate one leg, kneel down with it. Right. Other side. Stand up without your hands. Get down without your hands. Imagine you're locking up their leg with your leg. You use your hands to pull their leg up between your legs, right here. And you're blocking the other leg down so they don't kick you in the face. Alright. Upper body, we're going to do lotus push-ups. And again, this is related to the leg locks. Like if you're in this position, you need to scoot around. So to give you some upper body strength and control in the seated position. And for the heel hooks, twist. Just 30 seconds. Full body burpee. Almost done. 2 more rounds. Just going a little slower now. Starting to cool down. We're going to kneel down and stand up. Right? If you want to, you can try to explode up from your knees. Just to be a little crazy, I'm going to do one more round of handstand push-ups. So, do any kind of push-up you want. Hands are sweaty. No excuse. Ooh, that's it. For core, we're going to sideways scoot. When you're in the closed guard, you need to scoot sideways to get an angle to put a submission on. When they are in your closed guard. I recently learned this at the MMA school. So for the last round, we're going to put it all together. There's some stuff I haven't been working on. Triangle, omoplata, back to triangle, back to omoplata, back take, belly down, back position, back position, triangle from the back. For the legs, a little bit of everything. Upper body, some arm drags. Core. And that's it. So I'm pretty sure we've done enough to go over the 32 minutes required for the whole thing. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit over. So today we did the full routine, meditation, yoga, martial arts. And I encourage you to rewind if you didn't see the whole thing. Start from the beginning, practice the meditation, then do the yoga, then do the martial arts. If you're just jumping in and you've been following along with the martial arts, that's fine, but make sure you take a shower before you do the yoga and the meditation. Drink water. Have some healthy food, fruits and veggies, carbs and proteins. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow. I try to live stream every day, 7 days a week, to give you a free at-home daily routine for a full body-mind practice so that you can be a well-rounded, whole, happy, healthy human being. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.